All right. This is the 65th episode. I feel like I'm off center a little bit. I don't know. Let me scoot over. That's better. This is the 65th episode of the Runnin My Mouth podcast. I am your jubilant host, Aaron. And allow me to run my mouth for a little bit. I am jubilant because I have many things to go over today. And because of that, we're starting very early. I mean, it won't matter for you all because you're seeing this Wednesday at 11 in the morning, like normal. But I've started recording this. It's just about to turn 6 o'clock instead of at 8 o'clock because I got a lot to talk about. Now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. That's 10 more than last episode. Topics on my little topics list that I flash up. But it's overexposed, so you can't read it, so you're not going to be spoiled. And honestly, one of these, it's not like super topical, so I can probably save that for like another episode, but it was something that I wanted to talk about. But either way, there is much to discuss. First, elephant in the room. I am now indeed wearing glasses. They're on my face. You can tell because there's glare, and you can see my ring light, which is getting partially blocked by my camera. So yay. You can't really tell. If I turn this way, you can see a little bit better. They are heart-shaped, but they're rimless, so it's not immediately apparent. But if I take them off, there you go. You can even kind of see the prescription. Yeah, it's more in this side than the other side, but you know, it's there. There you go. So yes, I am now officially a member of the Four-Eyed Federation. At first, I thought, okay, you know, I'll get these glasses, but my prescription isn't super high, and I can still see pretty well. But when I put these on for the first time, I was so shocked. Like, my vision, it wasn't like bad. Like, it was it could use some improvement, but I put these on for the first time and I was like, oh, like I really needed these. Like, it was so crazy because like without them, I can see just fine, right? I think because I've been wearing glasses more or less full time for the past week, now it's like a lot more noticeable. But before, and I didn't really know this because I mean, it happens over time, I guess, but things far away, like I couldn't really see them in detail. Like I made a video on my Instagram stories because they came in around the middle of the day, not this past Friday, but the Friday before last Friday, which confusing, but a couple of Fridays ago. So I left work to go get the glasses because I was so excited about it, which is weird. I am, I guess, excited about wearing glasses. Honestly, I just feel like they elevate my look a little bit, but back to the story at hand. I went home to put them on and I was in my kitchen slash living area and I put them on for the first time and I look at like the roll of paper towels in the little holder that I have and it's like I can actually see the little divots like in detail, It's like kind of crazy the degree to which I just couldn't see some stuff in detail. And what's also kind of crazy is that when I put these on, for the first time and I went back to work, I always knew it was like this because, I'm there a lot. It's my workplace. But I realized how much everything is covered in dust. Like everything is so dusty. And it's like I knew it was dusty, but I guess I couldn't really see the dust. It's so crazy. But yeah, I have a lamp over there. It has like a sort of detailed lampshade. I take these off and it's like, it's kind of whatever. It kind of has this like almost crosshatch pattern. And I put these back on and it's like I can see the crosshatch in detail. And it's like, yeah, even though my prescription is not that high, like it makes a difference. It actually makes a difference. And I was so surprised about that it's actually like making a difference. But, at first I was like, oh yeah, I'll just wear them while I'm at work and when I'm driving at night because it's supposed to help. And it does help a little bit with driving at night. But no, I kind of need these. I kind of need these glasses. And yeah, I am a person who wears glasses now, which is kind of crazy. Like, these are just part of my face now. And I'm glad I got these heart-shaped glasses because, again, number one, they fit pretty well. They were not covered by my insurance, by the way, which I think it might just be the website that I got these on, which is I Buy Direct, not sponsored, but it could be because these glasses weren't cheap. They were like $78, and that was with a discount. And I keep forgetting to do this, but I'm pretty sure I can do like a, what do you call it, out of network reimbursement, because I do have vision insurance. Because I knew when I was enrolling for insurance at work for the first time, I was like, my eyes, I got to get them checked out. So it was a good thing that I did, but it didn't really end up doing anything because I still had to pay full price for these glasses aside from the discount. Without the discount, it was going to be like $111. But honestly, because I got like a bunch of coatings and stuff, I got like the anti-glare, anti-blue light, all that stuff. These are slightly yellow tinted. Like when I have them on for a while, I can't tell, but obviously when I take them off, the world is slightly less yellow. Which I mean, it's like fine. I get used to it, I guess. But yeah, they're honestly so great. I love them. Like actually. But now I guess I'm just gonna have to get used to wearing glasses, not just the vision aspect of it, but the aspect of having something on my face, like most of the time. And I will say, because these fit pretty well, like they're on my bridge and they're not like super close to my actual eyes. It's kind of whatever. Like it's kind of whatever, but also, I wanted, initially big circular glasses so that I wouldn't have the rim in my periphery at all times. These are, let's see, what were these called? The Amour frames, and these were the large version. So they are pretty big, I guess, but it's still in my periphery. Like I can see this down here. I can see this part right here, the top. Like that is definitely going to take some getting used to, but I think the obvious improvement to my vision is going to offset that a little bit. So shout out to all my glasses wearers out there. I'm now one of you. And another thing, I did get my hair cut, but I wouldn't say I'm disappointed. I mean, it's shorter. I mean, I can tell it's shorter, but I did not get enough of it cut off, or as much cut off as I wanted. And this is kind of my fault. I probably should have asked about this, but I was sort of under the apparently incorrect assumption that being that I was going to a natural hair salon and not getting something done where I'm having my hair straightened, they were gonna do, I guess what you would call a curly cut on my hair, which is what I would have preferred. But what they ended up doing was they ended up blow drying my hair with a little brush or comb attachment, which is not something I've had done in quite some time. And that's how they cut my hair. And I mean, it's fine. They ended up cutting quite a bit. I will say in the back, it's less, how would I describe this? Less layered, because it kind of was. Like there was like a noticeable separation in lengths in the back of my head when I would twist my hair, which, I mean, the way that I do it, like the way I section my hair is different from the way this person sectioned my hair. So who knows, it might show up again. I don't know. I won't know for a few weeks when I do my hair again, but I mean, I am satisfied with it. I do wish it was a little bit shorter. It is shorter in the front. Again, you can't tell because I'm wearing headphones. It's shorter in the front, which is something that I do want. Something to kind of, frame my face, because before it was like kind of down here and I didn't really like that. But I want more cut off, if I'm being honest, because when they did that, it was like, okay, I don't know how long my hair's, or I guess short my hair is going to be when it's not straight, because like I don't wear my hair straight like ever, so it's like this isn't doing what I needed to do. So I just had them cut off a little bit, and I should have had them cut off more because it's not as short as I want it to be. But I can probably find someone. I mean, there has to be someone in the city, Jackson, Mississippi, that can do a curly cut on my hair. I just have to ask around, I guess. But yeah, one definitely big change in my appearance, because going from not wearing glasses to wearing glasses, I would say that's a pretty big physical change, to a not so big physical change, because I didn't get as much hair cut off as I would have wanted. Yeah, so that's that. And that wasn't even one of the 12. So we still have a lot to go over. So there has been a lot in the world of music. This hair is on my neck. Oh my God. Okay. There's been a lot in the world of music that has happened over like the last week, not even really the last 2 weeks, just the last week. And I don't even really know where to start. Well, I guess I'll go, semi-chronologically, because when I was writing these down, I was writing them not really as they happen, but as I thought of them throughout, the interim period between the recording of the last podcast and this podcast episode. So I guess the first one that we can talk about, which, it's not going to take super long, but as you all know, a couple of episodes ago, why are you wobbling so much? I'm always fighting with this mic stand. It's fine. A couple of podcast episodes ago, I want to say it was not episode 60, actually. It's episode 56. I talked about going to Furnace Fest, which this was, I don't know the full history of Furnace Fest, so, I know it's been going on probably a lot longer, but I do remember it was kind of revived after COVID. So like in 2021, I think that was the first like revival year. I think I can look this up. I should have looked this up before, but when am I ever like prepared for the Oh yes, this is the one. This was, I think, the first one like back after whatever hiatus they were on. Or maybe, hold on. Oh, we're on a Wikipedia page. Okay, so I don't really want to just read this verbatim, but basically it started in like 2000 in the 2000s, and then it came back, which it only ran for 3 years, from 2000 to 2003, and then it came back in September 2021, and that was its first year back. And at that point, I was living in Alabama, right? I was living back home, but I had no money. Like the whole festival, I want to say 2021, it was like $250 or something like that. And I was unemployed and I didn't have any money. So I wasn't going, even though I really wanted to go. Looking at this lineup from 2021, I was like, man, this would have been so much fun. But I was too broke. But either way, I think there's a 2021 one, and then maybe 2022 happened, and then I want to say, I can't remember which one no. One of them was like the final one. I want to say that was 2024. It had the imagery with like the headstone. It's like this, we're done, we're over. This is the last one. Or maybe one of them was the last one, basically. That's what I'm trying to get at. One of them was the last one. It was the one that had like the headstone imagery, and it was like, whatever. But then they were like, we're bringing it back. Actually, we're bringing it back for the 25th year. Which is interesting because, it hadn't really been going for 25 years. It was just, I guess, the 25th anniversary of the first one. And that is the one that I ended up going to. And that is the one that I talked about on this here pod. And, they had kind of said, like, after the festival, like, oh, we'll see you in 2026. Like, what was it? Maybe a week or 2 weeks, or maybe not even a week. Like, a couple of days after the festival. If you go on the website now, you'll see exactly what's been there since October. Which is, see you in 2026. Dates coming soon. And, I want to say stuff for last year's, the lineup and everything, that got announced, I want to say like around this time last year. So, I've wanted to go back. It was a fun festival. I had a lot of fun. I hung out with some great people, and it was one of the highlights of last year, of 2024, for me personally. And so I was like, yeah, of course I want to do it again. But there's been no news about it up until, I want to say, maybe 2 or so last week, or the week before last, or something like that. There's an article in not Loudwire, Lambgoat, that was basically saying, and let me go to it, lambgoat.com. Where is it? Hold on, I'm gonna look for this. Come on. Nope. Fest. Yeah. So this is February 2nd. Oh, wait, it was February 2nd, but I only ended up seeing it maybe like a few days later. And it was essentially saying that there's some stuff going on last year because, initially, the tickets went on sale for, I want to say, $300 something. And then a few months before the actual festival, they lowered it by $100 because they were like, just punched the mic. Ticket sales aren't where we want them to be. So it's like, is this festival even actually going to be happening? Like, have they sold enough tickets to actually have it go on? And I mean, the answer was yes, because it happened. But come to find out, they didn't make enough money to actually pay the bands that were there. And I don't know if that includes vendors and stuff, but the bands had not been paid. Like, some of the bands had not been paid, like, a few months later. And so apparently the company, I guess, that organizes Furnace Fest has been sold to a larger event company. It didn't really say what that larger event company was. It was not specified what the company was. But basically, Furnace Fest, and I guess all that comes with it, so like all the trademarks and whatnot, now belongs to some other company, and the founder, whose name is Chad Johnson, does not own any of it anymore. And he had to do that because, I mean, if not, he would still have a lot of artists that are unpaid. And so also with this, it kind of made it, this announcement that he made kind of made it seem like it is supposed to still be happening in 2026. But honestly, I'm not holding my breath for that. Like, if you had to go through all of that, all these tribulations just to, have this money be cleared for these artists, it's like, I don't know if this is going to be happening again, and maybe not at that scale, which is a real shame because it was a really nice festival. I had so much fun. The location was great, honestly, having it be at Sloss Furnaces. It was my first time being there, but the festival grounds were like really nice, and it's like, I mean, at the very least, I can say I went to one, and there will be other festivals, so it's like, I don't know, maybe it's because I now have a level of emotional connection to this festival that, I feel a type of way about it. But like I said, there will be other festivals. So, that's that on that. And that's that. Bloop. Actually, it's fine. Okay, what's the next one that I have on here? Oh, dang it. I have things that I have props. I need to go get my props. I always forget these. Okay, I think I got everything I needed to get, but I think this was last week. Was it last Wednesday? Yeah, it was last Wednesday. No, yes. Maybe? When did this come out? When did this come out? Hold on. I have to find out when this came out, because my days, they're just bleeding together, They're just bleeding together. And of course, I'm not going to be able to find this. Hold on. There it is. Oh my god. It was just there and then it left. Please. Thank you. When did this come out? Oh, this came out February 4th. All right. That was a couple weeks ago. So yes. That was the day the last episode came out. Anywho, an EP called Window by Blind Knives, formerly known as Knife Palms, came out a couple weeks ago, and I did listen to it a couple times. Looking at the track list, you can see there's something rattling around in my hand. We'll get to that. So a couple of these songs, I don't know exactly how many, but I definitely recognized at least two, which is, I want to say Window and 999, which is track 3 and 5 on the EP. Those were recycled, which I say recycled, it's not necessarily bad things. They're reworked. I'll put it that way. They're reworked tracks. One from So They Say, but I can't for the life of me remember which one from So They Say, but I still have it saved in my library so I can look at the track list. Come on, I can look at the track list. Oh my gosh, LMNOP there. I want to say it's So They Say, or maybe Washed Up that got turned into Window, because maybe it's the chorus. During one of the parts, it's like I can hear it. And then 999 was from Covenant, and it is the track 10 by 24 millimeter caseless, I believe, which is the last track on that album. I think. I can't remember. It's been a while. Either way, I remember that. But I did particularly like 999 versus the original version because he kind of reworked the ending on it in a way that I think is better. So, yeah, stream that. Or if you would like to, you can buy a CD. We're bringing back physical media, which, we have been for, I would say, a couple years now. The people have been bringing back physical media. I think it's been mostly tapes. People are starting to make CDs, which I do appreciate. I mean, I appreciate a tape, but I also appreciate a CD. So this is the CD for Window by Knife Bombs. I didn't bootleg this. This was sent to me. This is official. It's got a barcode and everything, and an ISBN. Wait, that's only for books. Never mind. It's got a barcode, and the barcode has a number. That's not an ISBN. But either way, you can also purchase these at a website, but let me find the website. I'm not very prepared, aside from my long list of topics. Is that it? No. Okay, hold on. Okay, if I Google that, it's not showing me what I need it to show me. But basically, if you go to his Instagram, there's probably a link in his bio where you can buy one of these. I think they're $10. I received this in the mail for free. I got PR. I've been getting PR technically for like a while now. It's only been 3. I can only think of 3. Because I got this for free. This was given to me. This was mailed to me. And then, what was it? Oh my gosh, why am I blanking? Hollow Earth by the Akashic 45s is also sent to me for free. And then Measureless Aeons gave me their demo tape for free. So I've gotten, out of this whole endeavor, I've gotten 3 free pieces of music, which honestly, can't complain. That's pretty dope, honestly. Versus nothing. That's pretty good. And I've been happy to receive it all. I didn't show the inside, did I? Okay, this is the CD. We got our nice little jewel case. I believe that's what they're called. Nice little album art. Here's the back. You have the track list. Ooh, I forgot I have this on auto ISO. I should probably turn that off at some point. And then you have the inside, which I want to be ginger with this because this came apart before. This is the CD, which wrong finger. I appreciate the design here. And then it's just a card. It's not a booklet, but it has lyrics on it. And, no credit. I mean, there are credits, but it was, there's a link tree in here. Hold on. I could probably, We'll self-produce this EP, so there's not really that much to the credits. linktree.com/blind KNIVS. I spelled that right? Yeah, there it is. It takes you to, it's not $10. Why did I say that? It's $6.99 plus shipping. So honestly, that's a pretty good deal. I feel like the CDs that I've got, aside from the ones that I've gotten from Goodwill, which have been like $1, they're like $10. This is $7. That's a steal for an EP. A pretty good EP, by the way, I should say. I enjoy it. Okay, never mind. Anywho, that is Window by Blind Knives. By the way, I don't want to make it seem like I'm rushing through these because I have so many topics. I've said the adequate amount of words for each of these. So, yeah. Are all of these? I think all of these are music related. One of them is a movie, but it's still music related. Wow, we've got all music. Just all music. All music episode. Love that. I'll probably talk about something non-music related, but we got all music. I love that. So I don't know why I was particularly disappointed by this release that I'm going to talk about now, because it's like, I feel like I haven't really enjoyed their last couple of releases, so it's like, am I really surprised that it's like, they're switching up on me? But the Amity Affliction, who, to be completely honest, I only really listened to 2 albums of theirs, that being Chasing Ghosts and Let the Ocean Take Me. I don't know, I had to think about that. And also I did listen to, which I probably have talked about this, but the re-recorded version of Let the Ocean Take Me, like the 10th anniversary, whatever version, I don't like it because they took out all of the elements from the songs that made them good. Like, biggest example is on Give It All. You have the big outro with the choir. There's no choir parts on any of the songs. And it's like, why would you take that out? That was like the best part of the album, were the choir parts. And he took those out. Anyway, I also got to see them, like, I want to say right before, like a couple of days before Aaron left the band, actually, I can't remember what the reason was. I don't know if it had to do with his addiction problems or just, I don't know, his personality, but I am able to say that I saw Aaron sing live in concert, and you know what? He sounded fine to me. A lot of people during that whole Let the Ocean Take Me 10th anniversary tour were saying that he didn't sound good, and I thought he sounded fine. And I saw him in New Orleans and at the House of Blues, and the air was broken. It was not working, and I was there, I want to say in like May. I can't remember exactly, but it was hot, and the AC was not working at the House of Blues in New Orleans, and it was kind of bad. I remember I had my watch at that time, and I looked down, and my heart rate was like 160, and I was like, oh, okay, I might die. That's fine. So I didn't, clearly. But also I had, you know, I don't know. We're not here to talk about that. What we're here to talk about is their new single that they put out called, what is it called? Hold on. It's called something. It's called something. I'll tell you that much. That's not, oh, that is what it's called. It's called House of Cards. And it came out February 5th, and I saw it, and I was like, ooh, new Amity Affliction. And I listened to it, and I was like, oh, right. And honestly, I've listened. I don't know if I said it on this podcast, but I remember talking about it to somebody. I don't know, when, you know, when everyone Loves You Once You Leave Them, that's the name of the album, came out. Because the 3 singles for that album, Catatonia, Soak Me, and Bleach, and All My Friends Are Dead, I love those songs. I listened to them so much. And then the rest of the album came out, and I listened to it, and I was like, what the heck is this? Like, they put out their 3 best songs as singles, and the rest was just whatever. That album, well, hold on. No, those are the singles. When did the actual album come out? Everyone Loves You Once You Leave Them. So 2020. February 2020, and that was like one of the biggest bait and switch disappointments that I've experienced from a band. And it's like, okay. And then of course I listened to their Redux album, and I was like, whatever. And they had another album, Not Without My Ghost, which I didn't even bother listening to. So it's like, okay, am I really surprised that I perhaps don't enjoy the Amity Affliction's new music? I shouldn't be. I felt surprised when I heard this freaking single for the first time, but probably shouldn't have. Probably shouldn't have. That's totally my fault. Totally my bad for thinking, not necessarily thinking that it's gonna be good, but you know, I will continue to listen to the original version of Let the Ocean Take Me and, of course, Chasing Ghosts, because I still enjoy them quite a bit. Speaking of remake albums, I can't really think of any that have come out recently, but there was like, I wonder if this is a label thing. Probably not. I don't know. Maybe it's just a trend. But Apologies for the Week, that had like a redux moment where it had a bunch of features and stuff on it, and I just wasn't into that. Apologies for the Week is also another album that I listened to so much in like high school and college, where it's like I know these songs pretty much by heart. Like I know them, okay? And it's like, I don't know, I just didn't really like what it was doing, to be completely honest. And then what was it? For Those Who Have Heart, that got a reimagining, and it's like that one was kind of fine. They added a bunch of snare bombs in places, which is like, I don't know. And I mean the mix was a little bit better, but I kind of like the crunchiness and the maybe slightly lower fidelity of like the original version. So it's like, I don't know. And again, this is an album that I listened to a lot in high school and college, so obviously I'm gonna have an emotional connection to how it originally sounded, but it's just kind of meh, you know? And the same goes for this new The Amity Affliction album, which I think they're going on tour for it because it's supposed to come out soon. When is it coming out? April 24th. And they have one single out already for that. So that's what? 2 months just about. So it's like, okay, that's whatever. But for new music, I have some better news for me. When it comes to new music. Because my good Judies in Eidola, which by the way, maybe I misunderstood the whole meta of it all, but they recently put out a new single. And by recently, I mean like last week. This February 12th, like a couple days ago. Called Purity Ladder, and I was under the impression that, oh, you know, when Mend came out, that would be like the end of Eidola, but apparently not, because I mean, they are on tour. In fact, I found out that they're gonna be in Atlanta a couple days after I'm gonna be in Atlanta, and I was low-key kind of considering extending my trip to see Eidola, but it's like, I don't know if I have the money for that. I have a PTO, don't get me wrong. I, of course, have PTO, but I don't have the coinage to extend my hotel stay or to, you know, switch my flight, because I am flying to Atlanta because I don't want to drive to Atlanta. But, you know, that's they are on tour. So yeah. Either way, as for the single, I listened to it, love it. I mean, it'd be hard pressed to get me not to love something made by Eidola, because for the most part, I like pretty much all of their discography. You know, I have listened to it all. I listened to The Great Glass Elephant. I think hold on, let me go to it. Yes. And I mean, that one was kind of like okay, but To Speak to Listen is like, honestly, I do wish they would really get that. This is an album that deserves like a remaster, because it's good, but it's also needs a remaster. I don't know if it's just a streaming version that I've been listening to, but it's a little crunchy. Like, that's the only thing I can say. It's a little crunchy. It needs a remaster, and I wish they would do that. And then of course, The Architect, an album that came out like right when I moved here to Jackson, so I listened to it a lot in 2021, and listening to it reminds me of having just moved here. So of course I have a little bit of emotional connection to it in that way. Also, just a great album. Love it. And then Eviscerate was like my album of the year for 2024, and probably also, well, okay, no, maybe not 2025. I was gonna say also 2025, but I listened to Eviscerate so much. Still do. Maybe not as much, actually. I feel like it's still in the rotation, but it's like taking a back seat in the rotation. But Eviscerate it was just, it was perfect. It was a perfect collection of music in my mind, aside from like one track. But aside from that, fantastique. And then Men came out, which like Men was like, I love the Faustian spirit. I played that track so much, so very much. But the rest of the album I wasn't super into. Like, I'm pretty sure the Faustian spirit was the only song that had unclean vocals on it. And so I was like, okay, if I listen to this new track, Purity Ladder, is it gonna be like, what direction are they gonna go in? And thankfully, I feel like this is more in line with, sound wise, with like Eviscerate maybe. And so it's like, yep. Fans of Swancore, we are up. We are up. And then, I don't know. Do I like what Andrew Wells has done with Dance Gavin Dance? Because, listen, when I was in college, which saying when I was in college is crazy, but it's also, again, it's been 5 years since I graduated. So yeah, we have reached the distance where I'm talking about it in the past. But when I was in college, I was listening to Artificial Selection and Downtown Battle Mountain, of course, but Mothership. Those 3 albums were on repeat. And then Afterburner came out. When did that come out? It came out in 2020, but that was like April 2020. So that's like the tail end of my time in college. But those 3 albums specifically, along with like, a few others, I listened to those so much and I love them so very much. And then, I like Andrew Wells as a vocalist. I feel like, in my personal opinion, in the pantheon of post-hardcore male vocalists, he kind of is vocally, not in any other way. Let me just put that up there. Vocally, is the only person who could really go toe-to-toe with Johnny Craig, if I'm being completely honest. Like, their voices do different things, but I feel like it stacks up, So it's like, I don't know. But I just feel like it's maybe not necessarily being underutilized, maybe not being utilized in the way that I would like in Dance Gavin Dance. And what way is that? I don't really know. I can't articulate that at the moment. But that is how I feel about Andrew Wells and Dance Gavin Dance. So, I think I've said this before, but I think it's time to let it go. Will Swan, if you're watching, I know you're a big fan. Crazy statement, but I don't know. Is it time to let it go? Is it time to leave Dance Gavin Dance behind? Maybe. I don't know how many vocalists you can go through, which, to be fair, I'm sure there's other, post-hardcore and those type of bands that have had different vocalists, but I feel like every different vocalist in Dance Gavin Dance was doing something so completely different with their voice that the albums do legitimately have different eras. Like, the Johnny Craig era sounds so different from, what's that guy's name? He was only around for like one album that he made. I forgot his name. Alex something? Either way, it's so different from him, who's so different from Tillian, who's so different from Andrew Wells. It's like, we're doing different things, basically, Yeah, I don't know. It might be time. But either way, I don't know if this is, I'm assuming this is the lead up to an album. When did Men only came out in 2025, but Eviscerate and Men were made like at the same time, from what I remember. I'm pretty sure they were recorded at the same time. Because I was going to say, it hasn't really been that long, but this came out in January. Men came out in January 2025. So it's like been a year, but still, I feel like it's not that long of time. So I don't know if this is going to be like a new album. I hope so. It would be nice, but I did also kind of like the aesthetic elements of these last, 4 or 5. Actually, I think all of these were following the same kind of, what do you call it? Timeline? Not timeline. Story, basically. And I did like the aesthetic elements of that. Kind of, all the fractals and stuff like that. So yeah, that is the new Eidola single. And I'm probably going to listen to it a whole lot more in the coming in the coming weeks. Where did I put this? Here it is. Okay, what is next? I guess we're going in the vein of new music. Erra has also put out a new single whose name I promptly forgot. Oh my gosh, I was looking at it today or yesterday. It was actually probably yesterday. Called Further Eden, that I listened to the first time I listened to it, which I feel like this happens a lot with Erra, with me specifically. But the first time I listened to it, I was like, this is kind of whatever. And then I listened to it more and I was like, oh, I actually like this. But, you know, that along with Gore of Being and Echo Sonata, which those two singles came out some time ago. When was this? Don't start playing. When was this? Last July. And sometimes, you know, they'll put out like one or two songs and then that'll just be like its own thing. Like with Pull from the Ghost, that was like its own thing. And I think I've God might have been its own thing. Yes. And then another, yeah, so they like do that sometimes. So I thought that was gonna be like their own thing, but no. There is a new Erra album coming out March 6th. I didn't even have to look that up. And I remembered it because that's when I'm going to be in Atlanta. Because that show is on the 8th. Right? Yeah. So by the time I see them, their new album will be out. And their new album will be out pretty soon, actually. March 6th. It's in a couple of weeks. Hold on. Okay, that's more than a couple weeks. But I am pretty excited to see musically where this goes. I got into Erra kind of late. I guess technically late among their, you know, existence as a band. I only really got into them from Self-Titled, which came out in 2021, which that was after I graduated. That was after I graduated. But gosh, I liked Self-Titled so much. I have it. It's on the wall. It's on the vinyl wall. So that means it's important to me. And I will say, I think I'm at the point now where I can say that I like Cure more than Self-Titled. I just enjoyed it more than Self-Titled. But Self-Titled is still important to me. But I'm thinking if we are following a kind of, you know, maybe linear musical progression, sound-wise, then I will probably like Further Eden a lot, based on what I've already heard, and I'm excited for it to come out and to see what it's actually like, because I did like Cure, and the album art is very colorful, and I like that as well. It's like their logo, which, by the way, it took me far too long to realize that it's spelled out their name. Like, if you go on, I don't know, their last few, or last three, actually. I don't think it was on, hold on. Go to their albums. Let me see. Where's their last full length? Was it Neon? Yeah, this wasn't on that. Their little logo. That wasn't until Self-Titled. But the little like starburst looking thing, it's an E, 2 R's, and an A. And I was like, oh. Like, yeah, that does make sense. But for this upcoming album, it's like extruded. It's like a shooting star, kind of, which I don't know. But I'm looking at the track list here, and these last 3 tracks, it's a 1, a 2, and a 3. I, and I, because Roman numerals. The many names of God, In the Gut of the Wolf, and Twilight in the Reflection of Dreams, which I am hoping that I love a good album closer. I love a strong album closer. And I said this initially in my little mini review of Cure that I did after it came out a while ago, that it didn't really have as strong of a close as Self-Titled with Memory Fiction, but I still feel like Wave is a pretty strong album close. But with this new album, whose name I keep forgetting, Silence Outlives the Earth, all lowercase, by the way, so hot right now. With these 3 being seemingly connected, I'm hoping, it's one big musical movement. And by that I mean kind of like how Glimpse into Wish, or Wish into Glimpse. I got that totally backwards. Wish into Glimpse on Cure. I'm hoping it's that kind of, cohesive musical thing, instead of them just being titled with Roman numerals just because. I hope that makes sense, but it'll be out pretty soon. 18 days. We got 18 days. Well, probably less as of when this comes out. But yeah, I am definitely excited for this new album. And I did kind of like the new single. So that is that. Is that all for new music? Let me see. Yes and no. Because this isn't new. I just started listening to it, and I have found something that... Which when did this come out? It's come out April of last year. So, I mean, it's still new, but, it's new to me. I'll put it this way. It's new to me. So I am still one of the I wouldn't say very few, but I still use Spotify, right? I don't really rely on their recommendation algorithm because it has proven to me to suck real bad. And also, there will be some weeks I look in that release radar and I see the randomest of names and the randomest of song titles, and I'm like, this is definitely this has to be AI. Like, I cannot rely on Spotify's algorithm anymore to recommend anything to me, because it's not. And also, the whole payola of it all. Like, I know there are, and I don't know if this is official with Spotify, but I know it happens probably with these other like curated playlists where maybe you pay a little bit of money and you get in the playlist that a lot of people listen to, and then you boost your numbers that way. And honestly, I think it is happening direct with Spotify. Maybe not from artist to Spotify, but probably from label to Spotify. There's got to be a little bit of payola going on in the back end, because the frequency with which I am being recommended stuff that based on my entire listening history from 2017 until now, should not really be recommended to me. It's kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of crazy. But there was one exception. It was in, I don't even know what little freaking swim lane, I think that's what you call them, that it was in, but I saw the album art and I saw the title and I was like, well, I mean, I'm kind of invested. I'm kind of interested, I was thinking that this piece of music was going to be something just based on, maybe that would have been a little bit too on the nose now that I think about it. It probably would have, but either way, I was thinking it was going to be something, it was going to sound like Viltarta or like Mirar or something like that. And what I am talking about is the album I Know How You Will Die by the band Snooze from Chicago. And if you look it up, I mean, the album art is this truly terrifying, and I do mean like actually terrifying. Like, I feel like my scare threshold is a little bit higher, but I feel like this, I don't know if this is oil or acrylic or any other kind of medium, but this painting is truly horrifying. It was made by a real person, and I'm going to shout out that real person because genuinely this album art is just phenomenal. Like, of the album arts, like, yeah, let me see, credits, album art, Daniel Stewart is the artist. Actually, let me look this person up. I want to see the other stuff they have made, because when I saw this, let me see. Okay, that's definitely not the person. Yeah, that's not it. Is that it? That can't be it. That can't be the person. It's not. It truly isn't. Is it this person? No. Okay, no. This isn't the person, but It's a different artist called Daniel Stewart. What is this? Is this it? What is this? This is Detroit. And this is a professor. Color theory. Exhibited paintings and fine art objects. Well, shoot. I can't actually find the artist. I really want to find them because I do like genuinely like this painting. Like, I'm not like super duper into horror art, but you know, there is part of me that has an appreciation for it. So it's like I want to find the artist. I wonder if okay, hold on. This is, hold on. I'm gonna find it. Snoze. I want to find the artist. Let me see. I wonder if I go to like, this is probably gonna be so far back because this came out in 2025. And by the way, because I was talking about, I did do the background. This is a real band with real people. It's not AI. Maybe I went to, nope, I didn't go too far back. What is this post from? April 30th. Okay, hold on. I might be close. Is it this? Yeah. But there's no, let me see. This came out April 4th. Credits. I mean, this is just, yeah. Crud. But also is mastered by Chris Crummett, who did, I know, a lot of like metalcore albums from back in the day. So I thought that was really interesting as well. That stood out to me. I can't find the freaking artist. Oh my god. I just can't. Okay. I really want to find the artist who painted the album art, but I can't. So, you know what? What if I look it up plus Chicago? No. Well, it might be. No. This is a photographer. I'm not gonna find it, am I? There's a character called Daniel Stewart on Chicago Fire. There's a real estate broker. There's an actor. That's not it. Gosh darn it. Wait, is this it? No, this from... No, this isn't it. What is this? Daniel Stewart 26. From, what is this? Independent Student News of Grinnell College. Where's that? It's about a band. And this person... Okay, this isn't it. Maybe it is. You know, I don't know. I'm derailing this way bad by trying to find the painter, but Daniel Stewart, if you were out there and you painted this, I want to see the rest of your art. That's really it. That's it. Anyways, the album by the Chicago band Snooze called I Know How You Will Die. It is not, you know, really, I don't know, devastating, horrific, hellish thaw. It is very proggy and it is very mathy. But I will say, you know, this description here, which I think came from their, what do you call it? Audio Tree. They had Audio Tree live session, which I did watch. That came from the description of that video. But it says they're described as Meshuggah in major, and I'm gonna have to disagree with that because while they are like really mathy and like really, you know, proggy in the same way, I just don't know if I can make the connection. You know, as a gent connoisseur, you know, I feel like I'm qualified to speak on this. I don't know if I would say it's Meshuggah in minor or major, except for the fact that it's, you know, mostly in major. And I mean, I'm a gent connoisseur, but I also don't know music theory, so don't quote me on that. But it's on the surface happier sounding, but then you actually find out what the album is about, which is called I Know How You Will Die. It's about the, you know, I think main songwriter guy's, which I got this from the Audio Tree video, the main songwriter guy's friend who committed suicide. So it's like, yeah, that's kind of depressing. It's not very happy, you know? And honestly, musically, it doesn't even really sound that happy. If I'm even gonna go that far, it does not sound happy. Like I can hear the sadness in the notes, right? I don't know what that means. Don't ask me what it means. You know it when you see it, basically. So I have been playing this album pretty much nonstop for almost a full week because it hasn't been a full week since I started listening to this, but almost a full week. And it has definitely entered the rotation. I would really like to purchase this on compact disc, but it's only on vinyl. And that's lame because I don't have, I have vinyls. I don't have any way to play them. They're pretty much just decoration, which is fine. But I was like, you know what? Is now the time that I start bootlegging music. Not necessarily bootlegging, not pirating. I'm gonna pay for it, download those high quality files, and then burn it on a CD so that I can listen to it on my stereo at home. That's really all I want to do. This isn't for, distribution. I'm not trying to share. I just want it on CD so I can play it on my stereo. That's truly it. So, But yeah, if you're into really proggy stuff, really mathy stuff, really honestly, I would say it's like not necessarily mathcore, but almost mathcore with like indie rock vocals, which is an interesting combination, but it also works. So it does work. I would recommend I Know How You Will Die by Snooze. I have not listened to the rest of their discography. But this is also another perfect piece of music. Well, I would say it's a perfect piece of music. I so far don't have any skippers on here except for like the very last track because it's like a sort of outro track. Because each song flows into the next. Like you have to listen to it as an album. Albums are back. Albums are back. You have to listen to the whole thing beginning to end. You can't start it in the middle. That's like starting a book in the mid-chapter, mid-sentence. You can't do it. You have to listen to the whole thing. And I think that makes it exceptional. And let me tell you, albums are back. Love it. And also there's a lot of, I didn't listen to all of the interview segments in the audio tree session, but I think, what they ended up doing is incorporating, for some of the tracks, not all of them, mostly for like, maybe I Existed in Expectation, as well as, there's like another track in the middle here that kind of utilized it, but a lot of unconventional instruments, which they're unconventional, but they're not that unconventional, they fit in, right? But I liked how that was done. But also a thought that I had, as I've been listening to this album, and this is gonna sound shady, but I promise you it's not. But I feel like maybe this album, and maybe also this kind of music at large, is like music student music. I feel like if you get some friends together, if you're like at some kind of, I don't know, prestigious music school, and you get your friend, you're going to Berkeley, and I feel like this is a good example because when I saw Animals as Leaders, the last time that I saw them, 2 Novembers ago, they said there's like a Animals as Leaders conservatory or something, at the Berklee College of Music, which I thought was really interesting. But this feels like music school, musician student type music, like you gotta know, I feel like, what you're doing to not only that, but it's just really technical. It's really technical, and I feel like you have to know what you're doing to not only play stuff like that, but compose stuff like that, And like I said, it's gonna sound shady. It's not. It's not it's a neutral statement, okay? I feel like it's a neutral statement. This feels like music student music. And I still like it, and I've still been playing it nonstop for like the past 5 days or something like that. So yeah, I greatly enjoy it. And I wish it was on CD, and I wish I could find the artist for the album art because it is legitimately terrifying and I love it. I love it so much. Speaking of art, this isn't on the list, but who cares? Where is this? There it is. I was on the Instagram, as I am wont to do, and I saw this painting that just stopped me in my tracks. I have kind of loved this. I don't know what this would fall under, like the genre of painting. I feel like it has to have a name or something like that, but it almost reminded me of the album art for Diary by Sunny Day Real Estate, where it's like, I don't know the name of those, like they're like maybe it's not mega blocks, but I feel like they were these like bath toys that I used to have growing up with the little people's faces on it, and it looked exactly like that. In fact, I probably could find it. I probably could find out what these fellers are called if I just went to it. Background, music and lyrics, artwork. Here we go. The artwork is almost entirely done. Little People. That's the toy line. Yeah, well, hold on. Those are the old ones. What are the... Hold on. Well, shoot. That's not it. Well, yeah. Okay, yeah. They're the Fisher-Price toys. And I don't think they're, specifically bath toys, but I had them as bath toys growing up. But, kind of taking that and painting it in a way that feels... I don't know. Either way, the painting was a screenshot of specifically the Sims tune. I know because I know ball. And it was of a Sim begging the Grim Reaper to resurrect someone, I don't know who, after they've died. And it was just painted in a way that it just stopped me in my tracks. Like, I was mystified by this painting. It was, done traditionally. I can't remember if it was like oil or acrylic or whatever. And I was like, I need to have this. And unfortunately, I'd only seen the post 5 days after it was posted, because that particular painting was listed for sale for only $80, by the way, which I think is a steal. I thought that was a steal. If that was still available, I would have bought it. I would have framed it in gold. I would have gone to a store to get it framed. I would have gone to Michael's, okay? I would have gone to Michael's craft store to get that painting framed, because that is how much I truly loved it. And I don't think the artist sells prints. I need to look it up. I don't think the artist sells prints. I went to their thingamabob, and I did not see any. Let me see if I can go to my archive. What is this from? Here. The artist's name, let me go to, is Tristan Kimberlin at Lucific _. And they're only 24. Self-taught traditional painter. And it's called Pleading Death. It's acrylic 11 inches by 14 inches on canvas. And it just stopped me in my tracks. I was just so, I don't know. It's just the amount of emotion that was in it. It's like, I don't know if you guys have seen, because I get them recommended quite a bit, but those videos kind of breaking down those, like, not ancient, I don't know why I was about to say ancient, but, classical paintings. The way I could make a 30-minute video essay on this painting, hold on. On this painting, that's the painting. I could write 30 to 45 minutes about this painting. That's how much it means to me. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, it's sold, unfortunately. Again, only for $80, which is a steal. And I think this artist has some other, there's this one from Half-Life, Ravenholm. Yeah, this artist has some other paintings of video game stuff. Yeah. Again, this is another kind of horror artist. I don't know, I guess I've just been in a horror art kick. How about that? Yeah, this artist is phenomenal. I do like their work. But that Sims painting, that Sims 2 painting, I genuinely don't have words. And the bad part is it's sold. It's sold. Which is, oh, they do sell prints. Just not of this one. There's a print. There is a print. I'm buying it. I'm buying it. Live purchase. What is this going to be on, actually? It's going to be an 8x10 instead of 11x14, which is kind of whatever. But I'm buying it. I mean, it's only a print, but still. Oh, I'm buying it. And it's only $20. I can't believe I just pogged live on camera. Yeah. Oh, I'm buying it. I'm buying it, and maybe I will make the 30 to 45 minute video essay about it, because that is how strongly I feel about that painting. Oh my god. Best day ever. That's why I'm jubilant. Things just keep going my way. Also, maybe I didn't scroll far enough, because, you know, you go to the original, and it's there, and it's showing it's sold out. But I could have gone like a little bit farther and saw the print. So, yeah, I am honestly kind of sad I didn't get the original, but a print will have to do. A nice little 8x10. I don't know where I would put it, but somewhere. I am a patron of the arts, if you didn't know. So, yeah. You know what? The person did say they were open for commission, and they did make a point of saying, I don't know if it was just on, was it on the shop or like their Instagram, that they only, you know, they don't paint like the same thing twice or something like that. Let me see. Something like that. So, anywho, I hope the person who bought the original, first, it better be Juno Birch. If anybody else bought it, it's like, you don't deserve it. Only me and Juno Birch deserve this Sims 2 fan art, okay? You know? Anyway. Oh, what was I even talking about? Let me see. What's next? Okay. Which, by the way, I had on here, I did want to talk about The Sims, because I've been playing The Sims lately, but I will save that for a future episode when I don't have too much to talk about. Well, it's been an hour. I guess now is as good a time as any to do my ad read. So, you know, I have been to, I think just one show between this episode and last episode, but there will be many shows coming up, and many shows that I will be going to, and traveling for. Sneak peek to later in the episode. And I wouldn't be able to do it without my eargasm earplugs. Come on. Yeah. Use my code, JX10, to get 10% off on eargasm.com. We don't, and by we, I mean me don't want you to get hearing damage in the big 2-6 when it can be avoided. It can be avoided by having proper ear protection. And you can get You can get 10% off. I don't know why I blanked out. You can get 10% off your order on eargasm.com on a set of earplugs that will last you a long time, so long as you take care of them and don't lose them. You know, I'm not the type of person that loses things. I have already demonstrated on this podcast how I have a clip holder. What? Wait, what do you call them? Wait, hold on. Clipboard, right? Is that what it's called? Yes, I've had a clipboard in my possession since I was in the 2nd grade. It has survived several moves, not just in childhood, but into and out of college, and 3 apartments here? I still have it. I'm not gonna go get it. I've already demonstrated this, but I don't lose things, and if you don't lose things, a set of eargasm earplugs will be great for you. Listen, they come on a keyring. You can put them on your keys, you know? And unless you're like my dad and you misplace your keys all the time, there's no way that you can misplace them. you know? Eargasm earplugs, which I'm pretty sure they do still come with the little case. If they don't, you could probably buy one and get 10% off of it on eargasm.com. Leave hearing damage in the past. We're done. We're done with it. Okay? Thank you. Also, yesterday, as I'm recording this, it's the 15th. Yesterday was the 14th. It was February 14th. What's February 14th? It's the feast of St. Valentine, if you're Catholic or like an Anglican or whatever that does the whole feast calendar thingy. I'm not, though, so I don't care. But for the purposes of what I'm about to say, it was Valentine's Day. You know what I was doing on Valentine's Day? Nothing Valentine related. That's fine. But I'm hoping that with what I'm about to talk about, that this time next year on Valentine's Day, I will be doing Valentine's related stuff, you know, because I am seeking something special. What are you seeking? Are you seeking someone to do Valentine's Day things with on Valentine's Day next year? Are you seeking friends to do Galentine's? Is there a boy equivalent of Galentine's Day? Probably not. To do Galentine's Day or whatever the boy equivalent is on Galentine's Day next year, which is the 13th. Are you just looking for someone to talk to? There's been a QR code up on screen this whole time. You scan that QR code, or if you go to the link in my bio, which I'm pretty sure it's still there. I actually have to look. Let me look. Hold, please. Hold, please. What's in my bio? It is there. It's in my bio, which, by the way, I haven't checked in a couple days. How many submissions? Okay, I still have 7, which is 8 plus mine. What? Which is 8 with mine. And I am looking for 12 more. There's gotta be a few of you out there who are listening to this here podcast episode, who want to submit a little personal ad for a zine, an art project of mine. And you can do that by submitting your personal ad. It doesn't have to be long. In fact, don't make it long. Make it a couple sentences, truly. It doesn't have to be that complicated. With an email, a real email. It can be, a burner. It's fine. It does need to be real. Which, by the way, I'm trying to... Hold on. Well, never mind. I closed the tab. Do use a real email. It could be yours. It could be a, burner, but it does need to be real. And, find what you're seeking. Hopefully. And I think those are my ad reads. By the way, I know I've reached out to a few people, or a few people have reached out to me, and then I reached out back to them. I do have a price sheet available. If you, a burgeoning young musician or band here in Jackson or the metro area, or perhaps elsewhere in Mississippi, which we can discuss the terms of that when the time comes, and you're looking for a professionally done photo shoot or music video to be made, I have a price sheet. I do those things. So hit me up on the Instagram or at my email, jacksonunderground601@gmail.com. Hooray. Was Jackson Underground taken? Actually, that's not important. I'm pretty sure I must have checked. It's too late now. Anywho, those are my ad reads. So, like I said, I went to one show. Why is my ear ringing? Is that my ear? No, that's my recorder. My recorder is ringing. That's crazy. Well, anyways, they'll be taken out in post. Like I said, I went to a show here in Jackson this past Monday. I did have to cancel my therapy appointment. I know I commented that, and I said that, and it does kind of sound like a joke, but I did. I did cancel my therapy appointment specifically to go to the show. Which, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. And that show was Sanity Slip, Human Instinct, Facerot, and not Shangri-La. I forgot Skinny Bragg, the sludge god, who filled in for Shangri-La. So that was at Vibe Studio. That was my first time going to Vibe Studio. It's a nice little venue. I liked it. It did smell like paint because they were, I think I saw on their Instagram, they're like getting ready for a new exhibit. So they had to, or they were repainting in there. But it is a nice little venue. It is a little out of the way compared to some of the other venues that we have. But honestly, I do like that it's, in a different area instead of the more central part of Jackson, because Hal Mouse, it's downtown. Urban Foxes is Bellhaven, but still almost downtown, honestly. Innoval Music, that's in Fondren, and CS's, that's in Midtown. But I feel like they're still kind of in the same general vicinity. And then there's, the Patent House, which is, I would say that's downtown, but not as downtown as like Hal and Mouse. So yeah, Vibe Studio, it's really nice. It's a really nice sized venue as well. And it's really nice to be there on a Monday night. Pretty decent turnout for a Monday night show. But I was like, man, I'd seen all these bands before. Well, Shangri-La, yes. Skinny Bragg, no. So that was my first time seeing him. Honestly, I did enjoy that. However, everybody else was not passing the vibe check. I have said before, that's like, oh, it's so weird that artists want you to be in kissing distance of them, which I do to a degree still agree with. I think it is, especially if there's not a stage. There is a raised platform at Vibe Studio, so you're not really within kissing distance. There's still some separation. I feel like when there's no stage, it's just, everybody's on the same level and you're like inches away from the person and, performing in front of you. That is kind of weird. But when Skinny Bragg was performing, everybody was like back on the wall. It's like, what are y'all doing back there? Come forward. My God. Please. I guess they didn't have their eargasm earplugs and it was a little too loud for them. When you got your eargasm earplugs, I'm continuing the ad read, you can stand pretty close to a speaker and be largely unaffected. So maybe consider that. Maybe if you do want to be within kissing distance, but it's just the speakers are too loud, get you some eargasm earplugs. They're discreet as well. So maybe if you think like you're going to look like a goober with, construction headphones on, nobody's going to see these inside your ear. So, get into it. But whoa, brain, words. I liked how Skinny Bragg kind of, fused rap with like actual like sludge. I thought that was cool. I would honestly like to see him again. There were some, I think, mic issues, so I couldn't really hear him during some parts, but I did like it. I was into it, and I would like to see him again. And then, who came after him? I'm trying to remember. Oh, it's Facerot. And what I ended up doing, because again, like I said in my Fringe Fest episode, I have very specific conditions that have to be met if I'm going to mosh at a show, okay? Because I feel like most venues that we have do not meet these conditions. CS's does not. Actually, CS's might. It depends on how many people are there to, fill up the room. So CS's is dependent on how many people are there. Patent House, no, because I feel like I'm going to kick the window and then I'm going to break it and feel bad about it and now I have to pay for it. Breaking this window in this like $200-year-old house. So it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Urban Foxes, no. Urban Foxes is far too small, and also I don't think they book those kind of acts there anymore, which is unfortunate, but also given how small the room is, like, yeah, I get it, Where else? Hal and Mouse, the Red Room, again, that's really dependent on how many people are there. If the room is full, no. If there's like some space, yes, but I feel like there hasn't been space at the shows that I've been to there, the last few that I've been to, like maybe one, but at that one I wasn't really wanting to mosh, so it's like it wasn't gonna happen. What did I say? CS's, Urban Foxes, Hal and Mouse. I feel like I'm missing one. Patent House? Maybe not. But Vibe Studio, that room is nice and big, right? And there were, it was a decent turnout, but there still weren't too many people there where the whole room was filled up, So I was like, I like Facerot, right? I was feeling it for some reason. I don't know. I was just in a good mood. I had a cute outfit on. I was feeling great. I didn't have my camera, so it's like I was truly just there to vibe. I was truly just there to vibe at Vibe Studio. So I was like, you know what? I think now's the time for me to come out of mosh retirement after Furnace Fest, where I low-key kind of injured myself. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do my stretches. I'm gonna stretch. I'm gonna get nice and limber, before I try to do this, before I hurt myself again. And I will say I moshed not just during Facerot, but also during Human Instinct. Maybe not all of Human Instinct, but a lot of Facerot and a lot of Human Instinct, a lot of their set. 2 sets versus Furnace Fest. That was only 1. That was only during Danza. So I was like, I was able to do that for 2 sets. And I was sore for I was sore up until Wednesday. So for 2 days after that, I was feeling it, but I didn't injure myself. And also, during the moshage, the what? During during the moshing, I wasn't getting ass tired. And I was like, oh, this is great. And I'll tell you why. I have news to share. I'm going to say something. I am going to say something. I'll tell you why. I am slightly more conditioned now, and that's because me and Jimberly, we're well acquainted these days. I've been going twice a week since November 1st, to be exact. And the reason that I started going is because we got these new cameras and these new lenses at work. They're very big, they're very solid. And after getting those cameras and lenses and a bunch of other gear that went with it, I wasn't even supposed to be shooting. I wrote the spot, and I was gonna hand it off to somebody else to handle, but they weren't available that day, so I ended up shooting all of it as well. And the next day after shooting that spot, which it wasn't even particularly that long of a shoot, it was only a few hours, it was not a whole day thing, it wasn't even really a half day thing. It was a quarter of a day of shooting, and it was all handheld. So, but after doing that for that amount of time, the next day my arms were sore, and I was like, there's no way I'm this weak. There's no way that I am this weak. So a couple days later, I was like, you know what? It's time for me and Jimberly to get real acquainted. And so we have. At first, I wanted to just see if I could do it for a month. 4 weeks, twice a week, 4 weeks. And, I've passed that. And it's yeah. I like going to the gym, actually. I like picking up heavy thing and putting it down and doing that over and over on different parts of my body. That's pretty dope, actually. And because of that, and also, I do cardio. And because of that, I was able to mosh for 2 sets instead of 1, and I wasn't fighting for my life like I was at Furnace Fest. But also, Furnace Fest is outside. Actually, I don't think that's much of a difference. It was really dusty, though. That didn't really change much. Either way. And also, I wasn't even moshing for all of Dan's set. It was only the last 3 or 4 songs, and I was down for the count. But I did it for 2 sets at this last show. So if you were wondering, is it worth it for me to spend X amount of dollars a month to go to a place and pick up heavy thing and put it down repeatedly? It'll help you mosh. That's my endorsement for the Jimberly, right? So yeah, that was honest. It was a lot of fun. But I will say this. I feel like I just said that so loud. I heard it echo off the walls. That's crazy. But my thoughts on crowd killing still stand. And I'll tell you why. This isn't a rule. I don't know when the next time I'm going to do it is, because truly sometimes I just don't feel like moving. But, we had a lot of space. The floor, the real estate, there was so much real estate in Vibe Studio for me to, throw my arms and my legs without potentially hitting someone. I'm still pro socially distanced. moshing, right? And, I didn't end up making contact with anybody, I don't think. I came close a couple of times, I know that much. I almost took a foot to the face one time, and I did, and this was just in passing. I got this big old bruise on my arm that I'm pretty sure is still there. Yep, there it is. Good Lord, the contrast. I took a very sharp elbow to the arm, and it wasn't even that hard. I don't know. I guess I bruise easily or whatever, but either way, there's space. There's space, and I wasn't, targeting people, going after people who didn't want to be in it. I was keeping to myself. My thoughts on crowd killing still stand. That scene that I wrote, when was that? A year ago? It still stands. It still stands, which I'm going to have to reread that at some point. Just to really see how much I feel the same. But I would hazard a guess and say that I still feel the same. My thoughts on crowd killing, still the same. You don't whack people who don't want to be whacked. If you're in the whacking zone, if you're in the splash zone, not the splash zone, specifically the whacking zone. If you're in there and you get whacked, you consented to the whacking. If you're not in the whacking zone, you don't consent to the whacking. If you're in the splash zone, that's like the whacking zone, that's the green light. You get the green light if you're in the whacking zone to whack. Whack to your heart's content. If you're in the splash zone, which I would say is the yellow zone, like right on the edge, and you are kind of engaging with the pit, but you're not like really in there, and you get whacked, you can't really get mad about getting whacked. I can't remember if I said this during that episode, but when I was at Gidmis, I saw this happen so many times. Like, there are people in the splash zone getting mad that they're getting splashed, and it's like, move to the back. Like, get out of the way, If you don't want to get whacked, get out the way of the whackers. You feel me? So, like, I feel it that way. But if you're, yeah. That's how I feel about crowd killing. I feel the same way. But yeah. Skinny Bragg was great. Facerot was great as well. They did say, and this was last Monday, this was the 9th, Hayden specifically said that he is thinking that their, I believe, EP that they recorded is going to come out within the next couple of weeks, but not too sure about that yet. But I will be seated and ready for that when it does come out. And then Human Instinct, they're from Louisiana. Saw them some months ago at Howlin' Mouse, and they were a lot of fun. Did like them. And then Sanity Slip, who, I'm not gonna lie, after Human Instinct, I was like so tired, and also it was 10 o'clock, because they started, I want to say like 30 minutes late, because it was supposed to start at 7, but I think music ended up starting at like 7:30, 7:45, so we're a little bit behind, and, by the end of Human Instinct set, it was late, and I was tired from all the whacking that I was doing, and I kind of wanted to go home, and I was like, man, I'm gonna miss Sanity Slip. But I made up for it by buying some merchandise. I got this button, which these aren't, did I say button? Pin. I mean pen, button, pin, whatever. Oh, it's iridescent. I don't know if I noticed that. Yeah. I got this, oh my god, button. You really can't see it. It's kind of small. And we got the sticker, which is the same. Ooh, it's so overexposed. You can't really tell. Well, you can. And I also, I don't know why I put this down all the way over here. I gotta pick it up with my foot. Hold on. There we go. I got this, gosh darn it, shirt. Oh my god. Here it is. Okay. I got a shirt from Sanity. Please don't mess with the cable. Oh my god, okay. And it's a 2X, which is pretty big, but it's also long. Because honestly, I've wanted another, shirt to wear around the house. Because sometimes I like to Winnie the Pooh it around the house. I haven't really done it as much now that I live by myself. Because, I don't really like wearing a shirt in the house. I'm just so serious. I don't. I will just, wear a bra. Because I can. Because this is America. And this is my house. And there's nobody in there. But sometimes I also like to Winnie the Pooh it with a shirt and no pants. So I like to do that with big shirts, but the only like really big shirt that I have that I can do that with is my Careful Gay shirt, which I've worn so much. I kind of want to stop wearing it so it doesn't, get all ratty and tattered. That's a 3X. This is a 2X. But this one is also like long. So this is the front. Hold on. Yeah, that's the front. There's a design on the back, which I don't know if you're going to be able to see the whole thing. Oh, you might. Hold on. That way. This way. Boom. So I got that to kind of make up for not being able to see them. And honestly, great quality shirt. I like it. It's a good shirt. What kind of shirts are these? This is a Shaka wear? Yeah. Wait, hold on. World famous heavyweight t-shirt, Super Max Heavy. It's a good quality shirt. I'll say that much. So that was that show, and that was the only show that I've been to recently. So that means it's time to talk about shows that are coming up. Ooh, there's so much coming up on the 20th. There's 3. Actually, I think there's 4. I think I'm missing one. But number what? The first show that's coming up is Whole Opener, Hag, Die With Nature, and Dreams Without Color. I'm actually pretty excited for this one. I haven't seen Die With Nature in a while. It's been a little bit, and I always like watching them. They're great. That's the 20th. That's at 6 at the Patton House in Jackson on the 20th. That's Friday. Also on the 20th, which is a Friday. We have Snake Meadow Hill, Milky White, and Storage Only at CS's at 6 o'clock. Actually, all of these are at 6. And then we have the Akashic 45s, who, by the way, have a new song that is coming out, which I'm kind of sad that I'm not going to be able to watch this show because there's this other one going on. I can't be in 2 places at once. But they have a new song that they will be debuting at this show. So if you are an Akashic 45s head, don't miss this one. It's at Urban Fox's at 6 with Eyes Like Yours and Junkie Cosmonaut, who are from Hattiesburg, I think. And then on Sunday, the 22nd, we have Smokey's, Snake Motor Hill, The Narrows, and El Chavos from, what did I say? On the 22nd at the End of All Music here in Jackson. And then next Thursday, the Thursday after that, we have 430 Steps, Bite Back, and Mostly Satire at the Patton House and Gallery. And that's at 7. And then the one that I'm most looking forward to this month, I think, Dreams Without Color, The Sky Imposed Its Will at Gravemember, and Raven Weather at Urban Foxes at 7 o'clock. You know me. I love my weird little freak music. And this is going to be a night of weird little freak music just for me. Just for me. And then, of course, we have Buckshot Princess and Sad Bath on the 28th. And also, I was going to bring this up a little bit later because there's some other shows that are coming up that I'm very excited about. Not here in Jackson, but elsewhere. But this Thursday, the 19th, I don't have it on my calendar, but I have it in my brain and in my heart, will be the Jonathan Scales Orchestra at Fat Cat in Hattiesburg. That show is at 7. And I've been debating whether or not I want to go because the closer that I get, the more that I realize, like, oh, I'm going to have to leave, like, directly after work to make it to the show, to drive an hour and a half to Hattiesburg to get there, you know? So it's like, do I want to do that on a Thursday night and then have to come back on a Friday? Because I will have an opportunity to see them again, which I will talk about in a little bit. And then in March, what's in March? We have some things in March. Do we have anything in April? No. So in March, on the 7th, we have Village Instincts, Rosehaven Motor Hotel, which, by the way, every time I put Rosehaven Motor Hotel on my calendar, it puts up like this little hotel illustration. And it only does it for whenever I put Rosehaven Motor Hotel in a thingy, right? In the like title of the event, because this is my Google Calendar that I'm looking at. My Google Calendar. Village Instincts, Rosehaven Motor Hotel, and the Akashic 45s at Hallowell's at 7 o'clock. And then, what's after that? Julia Blair, Argus Burton and the Corn Dogs, Sad Bath, and Heath Walt at the End of All Music. That's Sunday, Sunday, March 8th, which both of those are going to be out of town for. And then we have Joy Bomb, Smokies, Really Bad, and Mostly Satire at Hallowell's. Yeah, at Hallowell's at 7 o'clock. And then on the 14th, we've got Kicking, the Akashic 45s, and Speaker Girl at Urban Foxes. And that's at 7 o'clock. And then, this is the rescheduled show from January, Storage 24 and Echo Pilot at Hallowell's at 7 o'clock. And then, we have Full Nelson, who's been here before. When have they been here before? Nelson. They've been here before twice? Wait, really? Oh, yeah. I wasn't... Oh, okay. Interesting. Wait, was this... This wasn't... Okay, I don't think this was rescheduled, but this is literally almost exactly the same lineup. But Full Nelson, Broken Demeanor, and Facerot at... What is it? CS's the 22nd of March at 6:30. But they were here before, December 14th. Full Nelson, Broken Demeanor, Face Off, Shangri-La, and Facerot at the Patton House on December 14th. Was I here for... Was that the one that I was here for? You know what? Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. I'm trying to go through my pictures. See if I took video. What is this? December 14th? December 17th, 15th. No. Was I? Okay, I guess I wasn't at the show then. Okay. And then another show that I am deeply regretful that I missed, which I mean, I ended up seeing, actually 2 of these, I think, bands at Gidmis. And that's Bayway, Cold Heart Steel, Full Nelson, Facerot, and Ignorant at the Sunflower Oven. And that was May 25th, 2025, which I really wish I would have seen Bayway. I really like them. Were they at Furnace Fest? I can't remember. I don't think so. Were they? No. And then Cold Heart Steel, not Ignorant. But yeah. Have I really not? I feel like maybe I haven't. Maybe this is that... No. I don't know. I feel like this is December 14th. Well, I'm looking in my pictures. It's December 10th and I have December 15th. But, yeah. Let me go back. What day of the week was that? December 14th. It was a Sunday. Did I really not go to this? Why do I remember? Anyway, that's not important. Oh, wait, hold on. Was that all the... I don't think that was all of them. Hold the phone. Was that all of them? What's today? Nope, go to March. Okay, yes, that is all of the shows that I have coming up in the future. Woo. So, let me mark that off. Okay. We're home stretch. If you're tired of listening to me talk, we're in home stretch. Luckily for you. But also, if you're tired of listening to me talk, you could just stop listening. Anyway, 2 shows got announced last week, and I was like, this is the best week ever for music. This is the best week ever musically for me. Because not only were these 2 shows announced, Eidola put out that single. I started listening to that Snooze album. Like, it was just a great week for music for me. The week of, I want to say the 9th. When was that? The week of the 9th, or I guess the 8th if you want to start the week on Sunday. That was a phenomenal week for me. And the first one that got announced was the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza. Are doing a handful of shows coming up here in the next, month or so. Which, let me try to find these shows that are coming up. Okay. Yeah. So I saw that they would be coming to Memphis at Growlers, a place that I've been to before, April 30th, with a bunch of other bands that are supporting, which, you know, hooray, nice, great, amazing. But, of course, the main attraction, for me, I'm sure I'll enjoy the other bands too, but for me, the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza, which I am very juiced to be seeing, especially after Furnace Fest, and especially after, you know, the fact that they've been on hiatus for over a decade at this point. And along with that is the news that Joshua Travis, who wrote all of Danza 4, which was my introduction to them, and would I say it's my favorite? I mean, it has nostalgia points for me, but I would, sure, why not? It's my favorite. Why not? Why not? Danza 4, the Alpha, the Omega, which was ironically supposed to be like their send-off album, but now they're writing new music, and Joshua Travis is out of a Muir and back in Danza writing. Don't know if he'll be at these shows or not. I guess we'll find out at some point when the shows happen. So that'll be interesting. I'm wondering then if, like, musically, how is this new material gonna sound? Because from what I saw, because I was trying, you know, not super hard, but I was trying to track down a CD of Danza 4, which pretty much all of their stuff is rare because it's been out of print for, again, over a decade. And therefore, when it does pop up on like Discogs or eBay, it's like $80 for a compact disc. And while I would very much like to own Danza 4, Danza 3 on CD, not for $80. I'm just gonna put it out there. Also, the fact that they are, I guess, back, there is a chance that these could be re-released, hopefully on CD and not just vinyl. So it's like I'm kind of holding out for that. But also, like I said before, there's well, I don't know if there's anywhere to like buy MP3s of their music. Let me find out. The Tony Dance Tap Dance Extravaganza. Like, are they on freaking what do you call it? Not Basecamp. What do you call it? Why am I blanking out? Oh my god. Basecamp? That's goofy. It's not Basecamp. Bandcamp. I was close. They're not on Bandcamp. They appear to only be on streaming, which is unfortunate because, you know, if I could buy an MP3 and it, like, if I really felt like it, if I truly just wanted the music on CD, could I bootleg it? Yeah, I could. But, you know, I don't want to do that if I don't have to. You know, I'm not in middle school anymore. I don't have to go on downloads.nl and search up songs or go on Russian Facebook to find full albums anymore. Which, by the way, VK.com had all the albums. They had all of the ebooks as well, just there. And honestly, it was great when I was young and broke, but now that I am of means, I don't have to resort to these tactics anymore. And while I am, you know, pro piracy, like, if there is a way to pay for something aside from like Adobe programs and Sims games, I'm gonna try to do that. You know, I like I said, I am of means now. Pretty much the only thing I don't really want to pay for these days is like software, because it's all subscription, and it's like, that's so lame. Like, that's unbelievably lame and corny, having to pay subscription for friggin' software. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, Joshua Travis is back in Danza writing. Don't know if he's gonna be performing. I remember it was really funny because I do know what well, I don't know what he looks like, but I do know that he's a black man, and I was up, you know, by the barrier, like, waiting for Danza to start at Furnace Fest, and like, there are these two guys next to me who were like, man, I wonder if Joshua Travis is here. Like, oh, is that him up there? And when I tell you there were no black people on that stage whatsoever, not even a stagehands, like, I don't know if those two people next to me knew what he looked like, but it's like, none of these people on the stage are Joshua Travis. Like, I'm just putting that out there, you know? Like, I don't really know this man's facial structure, but like, I could probably tell you that he's not up there, you know? Either way, it would be interesting to see if he's gonna be there. So they have like 2 dates in Texas. I don't know why I blanked out on the state of Texas. And 2 in Tennessee. And one of them is at Memphis, and I will be there. It's a Thursday, by the way, April 30th. That is a Thursday. And guess what? I will still be there. I will still be seated, standing at Growlers. And I will say, my point still stands. Like, it's not dependent on the band whether or not I'm gonna mosh. There's a decent amount of space during Furnace Fest, but I've been in Growlers before, and let me tell you, I I legit almost got crowd crushed in Growlers on my birthday, because the last time that I was there was 2023, my 24th birthday, for what was that? A zombie tour, The Devil Wears Prada, and it was them, Dying Wish, Stray from the Path, and a fourth band that or was it 4? I think it was just the 3 of them. And during Stray from the Path, they were shooting a music video, and I was kind of in the middle of the crowd. I wasn't even, like, towards the front. And the singer announced, like, hey, we're shooting a music video. If you want to be in it, come to the front. And I just felt the air being pushed out of my lungs. It was honestly kind of scary, if I'm being honest. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to be in a music video. Now that I think about it, I didn't before, but now I definitely don't. So I had to claw my way out of there back to the bar. But yeah, it was such a small venue, but honestly one of the best shows that I've been to. Not the best, one of the best, because I got to be so close up to the front on accident. I just got pushed, couldn't move, mind you. Like, I had bruises on my shins from being up against, like, a speaker or a monitor, like, the whole time Devil Wears Prada was playing. But I got it, which, by the way, I don't know where I think I know where it is. It might be in my nail polish bag, but I have a guitar pick from Jeremy of The Devil Wears Prada, because I was standing pretty much right in front of him, and he, like, squatted down and handed me the pick, and I was like, oh, thank you. So to this day, that is my favorite birthday gift that I've ever received, even though it wasn't really a birthday gift, and it was a standard yellow Dunlop guitar pick. It wasn't even, like, a custom one, because I have another guitar pick from Mugshot that I got when I saw them. I think they were I can't remember who they were supporting. Bless the Fall, I think, on the Hollow Bodies tour, which that was a great time. But yeah, I'm seeing Danza in Memphis, and I will be driving there because I'm pretty sure the train up to Memphis doesn't get there until, like, I think it gets there, like, right at 6, which is when, door time is. And of course, me being me, with these shows, with non-local shows, I need to be there before the doors open. I'm standing in the line. I want to stand in the line. I like standing in line at these bigger shows that I go to. I just think it adds to the what do you call it? Experience. Man, my brain is really breaking down. I'm forgetting words. Yeah. Cool. Another show that got announced, and I was like, I can't miss my goats, right? And I guess these are just my goats that I have been able to see in person more than once, because Periphery, they just don't want to tour, which, I mean, is fine. It's perfectly their right to not ever tour ever again if they wanted to. Don't get any ideas though. Just do one. If you're gonna do that, do one last show so I can get on a plane and go to wherever the heck you're gonna be, which is probably Baltimore, right? If you're gonna call it quits with the touring Periphery, just do one last show wherever local to them is, which I'm pretty sure it is Baltimore, wherever, somewhere in the DMV, right? Just do that so I can buy the ticket and buy the plane ticket and go up to Baltimore or wherever. Just let me know so that I can be there for the very last time. All right. Anyway. Animals as Leaders. They're going to be doing a handful of shows in some random locales. And this show I found out about, like, the first time that I saw them, or maybe was it the first? Yeah, no. Every single time that I found out that Animals as Leaders is gonna be somewhere, it's through an email from freaking bands in town. Like, I think maybe at some point I like put in my email to be like notified, and then I forgot about it. But the first time that I saw them, which was in New Orleans on Juneteenth, by the way, with the Jonathan Scales Orchestra, that was from like a random bands in town email. And I got there, and I guess it had been announced like not that far from when the show was going to be, so a bunch of people there didn't even know about it until like either the day of or like a few days before. And then the second time it was a bands in town email being like, hey, we're touring for the Joy Motion 10th anniversary, and I was like, yes, I will be there. And then another time it was a bands in town email, which I could probably find it. Where is it? I think it went into my main inbox, which they don't usually. And I saw, it's like, oh yeah, here's some artists headed your way. And, in the top row is like, oh, the Johnson Scales Orchestra, which I already knew about. They're coming to Hattiesburg. And then it was like, oh, the Amity Affliction, which I knew they were on tour. And also August Burns Red. And then Animals as Leaders. I was like, what's this? So I go, and sure enough, they're going to be at Chelsea's Live in Baton Rouge, two places I've never been before, that venue and that city. So I'm going to, again, be driving down to Baton Rouge. When is that show? They're both in April. They're actually a week apart because the Animals as Leaders show is the 19th, and then the Dancer show is the 30th. So that Sunday and the next Thursday. So I'm going to be doing a lot of driving in like 2 weeks. Well, not in 2 weeks, but over the course of 2 weeks. And also taking a fair bit of PTO. Which, I mean, it's 3 days. That's not that much. That truly isn't that much. And you know what? I deserve the PTO. I'm a very hard worker. And also, I only get 140 hours a year. Because I didn't use up all of mine from last year, and it didn't roll over. I'm pretty sure it didn't roll over. So yeah, I'm going to be using that PTO. I don't care. I deserve it. I deserve to have fun. I work to live. I don't live to work. Thank you. So that's that. That's number 9. I put this on here, but I'm not going to talk about that. So mysterious. I mean, there's really not much to it. I made this whole episode. When was this? Before Christmas. Episode 60. Talking about how I was going to buy a house. Guess what? It's not happening. Because my father, not necessarily a liar, but not the most truthful of individuals. We'll put it that way. But I will say, I booked the whole because with the Dancer show and the Animals as Leaders show, I'm pretty much going just for those shows. But for Erra, which is coming up pretty soon, Erra and Currents, they're co-headlining. I kind of forgot about that. I'm not even gonna lie, until I saw it on my calendar. I made a whole trip out of that. Like, I have an itinerary. I have other things I'm gonna do aside from the show. I have not events necessarily, but things that I want to do. And I did that because I was like, There's a saying, don't catch feelings, catch a flight. And I think that's in regards to like romantic feelings with men. But I'm adapting it for myself. Don't get mad, get on a plane. So instead of getting mad about not being able to buy a house anymore, I decided to get on a plane about it, which is very 21st century woman about me. 21st century woman of me, I'm a single income, no kids. Which does not mean that I'm rich. It just means that I can be a little bit more cavalier, let's say, about my financial decisions, like getting on planes and going places and things like that. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. And I am truly like over it at this point. So, that was that, I guess, which I don't even know if I want to mark that off. So, last topic of the evening. It's almost 8 o'clock. I'm so glad I started recording this when I did, because if I didn't, it would be 10. It would be 10 o'clock right now. Yeah, and anywho. So I saw an advertisement for this on the Instagram. Usually Instagram ads are just the worst. I mean, not really the worst, but just like stuff I don't even care about. But sometimes Instagram, they'll understand my programming or whatever. And I got an ad for this movie. It's a mockumentary about Brat Summer, and it's called The Moment. And I was like, oh, this seems cool. I didn't look up too much about it because I didn't want to know too much about it, and it piqued it piqued my interest. It piqued my interest because 2 years later, I've actually listened to Brat, like actually listened to it, aside from, the snippets from the TikTok videos that get reposted on, Instagram or YouTube. I actually took the time to listen to the whole album, and it's like, yeah, I like this. Like, it should, well, I don't know. I haven't really talked about it too much. But there was a point in time where I was really into dance pop. When dance pop was like really popping, and I would say that would be 2011 to 2013, when dance pop like David Guetta, Calvin Harris, which I don't know if Dead Mouse ever like made the main charts, but definitely Calvin Harris and David Guetta and DJ Fresh, which I don't know if that's like super niche, but example, I was into all those artists during that time when, kind of more, I guess, I don't know, less poppy, more dancey dance pop was like really hitting the charts. Like 18 Months will forever be famous to me. That album will forever be famous to me, and it's so different from, the stuff that I normally listen to, which, what is the stuff that I normally listen to? I like to think that my tastes are a little bit eclectic, but given that I am, known as Jackson Underground, the metal and hardcore girly now, I guess, I was really into dance pop for a time. I still am really into dance pop. I'm really into Eurodance. I was really into dubstep. Can't really say that I'm still into dubstep. That definitely had a moment. I don't know if I'm really still into dubstep, but like EDM, but really heavy on the dance pop and the Eurodance. I was really into that kind of stuff. And then, of course, Charlie XCX had some songs from back then that were, definitely more pop than dance. Like, what is the one? I crashed my car into a bridge. I don't care. I don't think that's the name of the song. Well, that's a Fall Out Boy song, which I know about. What is it? Oh, it's called I Love It, which I guess technically that's an Iconopop song. Just different, but it's featuring Charlie XCX. And then she had, what is it? I mean, this isn't gonna help me. Boom Clap. That was a Charlie XCX song, which that was definitely more pop than dance, for sure. But, some of her earlier stuff I remember. But of course, then Brat came out, and that was like a whole thing with the lime green and the little TikTok dance for Apple. But I appreciated it from afar. But I never really actually listened to the album like in full until maybe like early January or like late December. And I was like, this is actually good. Not just musically, but like lyrically as well. Because like, yeah, being a girl is like hard, whether you're in the industry or not, whether you're in any industry or not. Being a girl, definitely difficult. And it's I know it's, I don't know, maybe if you're rubbing your last two brain cells together, maybe it might be hard for you to understand how deep this album really is. But once you listen to it, it's like, yeah, girlhood and womanhood and all that comes with it's a lot. It truly is a lot. And all of that is set to the backdrop of like, really hard hitting, like, I guess, EDM. I'm not really into the, dance music subgenres and as I am with like the heavy music subgenres. Like, I feel like I have more of an understanding of what separates, gent from hardcore punk, but not necessarily what separates EDM from, well, okay, no, I know the difference between like EDM and hardstyle and jungle and stuff like that. So maybe I do know what I'm talking about, but I don't know, musically what Brat would be considered, like what is that, just like regular EDM? Is there like some other subgenre that I don't even know about? Either way, all of those lyrical themes are set to that kind of music. So it's like, is this like airhead, cokehead club girl music, or does this have something more behind it? And, you know, that is why I kind of do really appreciate Brat as an album beyond just, what's on the surface. And I'm sure people have opined about this far before I have, and probably a lot more you know, intelligently than I have, but that's how I feel about the album, and I do really love it. So when I saw the, I guess I didn't even watch the full trailer, it's just a snippet from this movie. I looked it up and I was like, oh man, like this is so cool, like a mockumentary about Brat Summer, and it's about her getting ready for the tour. And there's this director that's coming in, played by, oh my gosh, which Skarsgård is it? It's the one that's in the Leather Daddy movie, which the trailer for that played before. Which one is this? Which Skarsgård? It's, which, I mean, they're I was gonna say it's the blonde one. They're all blonde. They're Swedish or something. They are. It's not Alexander. Yes, Alexander Skarsgård. He's in which the name of the the name of the Leather Daddy movie is Pillion. But he is the director, the kind of weirdo director in the moment who tries to have too much creative control over it and really steamrolls both Charlie and, well, I would say more so her creative director, because and it's like, I know there are some people out there who are like, you're a rich, successful musician. I can't feel bad for you, but like also, it does a lot. And also, I feel like Brat, the music, the actual album, does a lot to humanize Charlie XCX, but so does this movie. So it's like, God forbid I have a little empathy for this this woman. Which, but I don't get people who say things like that, because it's like, I don't know. I feel like, class consciousness is one thing, but also saying that a person can't have emotions because they're rich is like the negative 2 brain cell take on that, right? I feel like, yeah. And so, Charlie in this is really seen as very overwhelmed, because another thing about this, and I was meaning to look this up, but I was trying to find out if the same cinematographer did Uncut Gems, because that is how claustrophobic this movie is. Like, it is just shot so close and so shaky and with so much, film grain, and it's so close and up there and in your face, like literally in their faces, because it's all close-up shots. It's kind of crazy. Where is the friggin' IMDb page for this? A24 Fandango. There we go. Why is IMDb like all the way down? Let me see. Where is it? Cast, all cast and crew. Let's see. Writers, cast, cinematography. Where is it? Producers, composer. Here we go. Director of photography, Sean Price Williams. What else has he done? The Moment, Tate McRae. A lot of shorts. Let me see. Who did Uncut Gems then? I mean, they're both A24, and I'm not one, cinematographer has the, what do you call it? Copyright for, I guess, claustrophobic cinematography, but it did remind me of that. I'm trying to find it. Who did la cinematography for this? Producers. Okay, yeah, there's 2 different people. What about the editors? Well, Benny Safdie did that one. Go back. Who edited this? Composers. Okay, no. Completely different crew. So never mind. But the cinematography did kind of put me in the mind of Uncut Gems with, all the film grain and just the claustrophobic nature of it all. But I did really enjoy it, and I got to see it in a theater. I thought at first, like, oh, this movie is far too cool to be played here, because all we get are just family movies and a lot of Christian movies, and I'm breaking my silence, all right? I feel like there has been an influx of Christian movies that are being played at theaters here, which, listen, I get it. We're in the Bible Belt, so this isn't necessarily surprising, but I feel like, I've been living here for about 5 years, and I was still, like, when I got a car, there was a time when I was going to see movies a lot in, like, the summer of 2019 up until, like, 2020 before, things got bad. Or, yeah, before things got bad. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like there has been an increase in the amount of Christian movies. Like, there is that animated movie about David. There's like been a lot of kind of hokey, not good looking Christian movies that have been in the theaters here lately. And I feel like that's been what's been filling the theaters. Probably because there's not, February is kind of the doldrums when it comes to movies in the theaters. Like, you might get one or two. Because, like, we have Wuthering Heights, but I've heard from people not just online, but people that I know who have seen that movie and thought it was doo-doo garbage, to be fair, which coincidentally Charlie XCX also did the music for that. To be fair, I don't think anybody was expecting Wuthering Heights to be good as an adaptation. Maybe good on its own, but as an adaptation, no. And one of my favorite film genres is white people wandering a moor. And from what I saw, because I watched this 1 hour long YouTube video describing the convoluted plot of Wuthering Heights, it is a lot of white people wandering a moor. But I don't know if this is white people wandering a moor or is it just smut. Which, listen, I was literally just talking about the Leather Daddy movie, which I am, hopefully, if it even comes out in theaters here, which, listen, it's probably not. Pillion is probably not coming out in theaters here, but if it is, I want to Fujo out. I want to unleash my inner Fujoshi and watch the Leather Daddy movie, which is apparently, according to, critics, really romantic and heartwarming. But, if you do whatever the... I don't think there is, like, a heterosexual media equivalent of Fujoing out. It's just smut. It's just regular smut, right? I don't even know if it was good with that. But of course, I haven't seen it. I don't intend on seeing it, but from the people that I've seen talk about it, it ain't that good. Not just as an adaptation, but just in general. But anyways, there's no telling how long the moment is going to be in theaters. But probably the way it was only in one theater. It was only in Malco. It was not in Cinemark. So I had to drive all the way to Madison, the den of hatred and avarice, to go see this movie. So, I don't know how long it's going to be in theaters for. Probably only for a couple weeks, knowing, this market, which is not great for, more different kind of movies than your regular blockbusters and family movies and a surprising amount of Christian films. So, I would see it. If you were into Brat at all, if you were into Brat Summer, if you were into Brat, I would see it because I did really end up enjoying it. I did really have to pee again in the third act, like a few minutes before the actual movie ended. I don't think I missed that much because, I tried to pee really fast and run back. I did wash my hands because I'm not filthy, but peed really fast and tried to run back, so I didn't really miss that much, I don't think, at the very end, but I did really enjoy it, and, it was good. I liked it. So yeah, honestly, it kind of made me appreciate Charlie XCX as an artist, like, a little bit more, Yeah, and it was paid for. Well, I don't know if it was paid for. I can't say that. But it was, through her label. So it's like, is this, I don't know. People are so weird when it comes to the music industry about their opinions about it, especially, the kind of stuff that actually charts. Like, everything is a conspiracy. Which, I mean, given events in just this country in the past, couple of months, past couple of years, everything does kind of feel like a conspiracy. But everything isn't a conspiracy. I think that's where I'm going to leave it. Everything's not a conspiracy. And I talked about 10 of these 12 topics. Well, I guess technically 11, but I didn't really spend a whole lot of time on one of them. So it is past 8 o'clock now. Good Lord, I need to fold my clothes. I did cook. I cooked already, thank God. I don't have to do that, but I do need to fold my clothes. But this has been the 65th episode of the Running My Mouth podcast. I've been your host, Erin. Thank you for allowing me to run my mouth. Follow me on Instagram, because if you're not following me on Instagram, you're only getting half the story. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You're only getting half the story. Use code JX10 to get 10% off your order on eargasm.com. What else? Scan the QR code. Find what you are seeking this year or whenever I get around to actually making this, because I need 12 more entries to actually make it. I need at least 20. I just think that's a good enough amount. I need at least 20. That's it. Just 20. More than 20 would be fine. Great. I would love it. I would welcome it with open arms, but I need at least 20. What else? That's pretty much it. I need to fold my clothes and then go to bed and start the week. Yep. It's Sunday. Tomorrow's Monday. And I will be working, which is fine. I've had a pretty good working week, if I'm being honest. It's been pretty great. Anywho,